Throughout this week, we've been journeying with a number of the resurrection passages of Jesus Christ. And here today we have Mark's version. And Mark doesn't have the flurry or perhaps the storyteller approach that some of the other gospel writers do. Here we have just in 6 verses, Mark gets to the point. What happened? Mary Magdalene went to the tomb, they didn't believe. They then appeared to the 2 on the road and doesn't give the whole story of the road to Emmaus, how that all happened, as we hear in some of the other Gospels. And then Mark jumps right to the very end and says, then lastly, he appeared to the 11 and he reproached them for their incredulity and obstinacy. And then he says, go out to the whole world and proclaim the good news to all of creation. Mark's Gospel, and what we have here today, is primarily there to bring people to belief in the resurrection. That's what this week is about. That's what the Easter season is about, for us to realise what has happened, but not just to realise it as a story, but to actually believe. And each of the passages that we hear are there to bring us to faith. Tradition, and it's quite an ancient tradition in the life of the church, that says that the first person that Jesus appeared to after or on the day of the resurrection was to his mother. Here we are on Saturday in the Octave of Easter, and I often like to remind those who come to Mass about that tradition. St. Ignatius Loyola, who founded the Jesuits, he wrote a lot about the significance and the importance that Jesus came to visit his mother after he had died. And St. Francis of Assisi also wrote about that and encouraged others to think about that. Mary, the mother, suffered greatly. She suffered greatly on that journey to the cross with Jesus. She was there, and I'm sure Jesus knew and could feel that his mother was suffering. And the first thing that Jesus would have done would have been to go to his mother and say, it's all okay. The difference, though, with Mary, compared to all the other stories that we get in our Gospels, is that Mary believed. Unlike Mary Magdalene, who was just going to the tomb because she thought she needed to anoint the dead body of Jesus, she hadn't taken in the words that Jesus had said he was going to rise. Peter, James, John, others, they hadn't taken the words in either. Those on the road to Emmaus, they hadn't taken the words of Jesus in either. They decided to leave the disciples and just get on with their life. And Jesus goes after them and says, no, you should be part of the community. But the story of Mary is not mentioned in the Gospels. And it's thought that it's not mentioned because Mary didn't need to come to belief. Mary knew. She listened attentively to what Jesus said, and there was no reason to write it down because the purpose of the Gospel, as Mark makes it very clear, is to bring people from incredulity and obstinacy to faith, from unbelief to belief. Mary had that belief already. And it makes perfect sense, both humanly and in a divine way, that Jesus, the Son of God and the Son of Mary, goes to see her mother, goes to see his mother. To let the mother know, Mary know, that all is fine. And to enter again into that beautiful relationship between mother and son. It's not mentioned in the Gospels, as I said, because Mary was not one who needed to come to belief in the resurrection. She knew in her heart. Each of the Gospel writers don't tell us of Mary going to the tomb. They don't go running to the tomb to see. Mary doesn't go running to the tomb like the others do, because Mary already believed. Let's be like Mary this week, and especially on this Saturday. Let's be those who've listened to the words of Jesus Christ, those who have believed in the resurrection and know that Christ is deep and is close to us, even at this time.